Hey, what's up? I want to show you something since I mentioned the Nikkor 200mm to 500. I was going to show you that if you have a lens with a tripod collar, my little invention, and I'll make a second video so you can take a closer look at it. My invention, I always said simplicity is divinity, and this is the simplest way I've found to mount a really heavy lens onto your camera so that A, you don't damage the mount of your camera, B, it cinches the lens and the camera as close to you as possible. 3, you don't have to worry about dropping your camera. 4, it does not stress the actual, which has been known to break, because a lot of people have actually secured the latching of the entire weight of the lens and the camera strictly to the tripod socket on the tripod collar of the lens. Of course, a lot of people, well, not a lot, but some people made the mistake of course, very ignorantly attaching their camera with a heavy lens like this. Big no bueno. I mean, not only, that's a bad idea for many reasons. Mainly, of course, is because it's going to stress and destroy the mount on your camera. You would never, with a big lens like this, want to mount anything via your camera so far as packing it around. When you got a lens like this, you never attach a lens to your camera. You're attaching a camera to your lens. In other words, when it's this big, the camera is the accessory that's attached instead of the lens being the accessory that's attached. I'm going to show you a second video here in a second, but what I have, and there's no metal that's touching, so nothing's going to rub on the actual camera and nothing's going to break. I actually have 3 of these, and I've mentioned this before. It's called accessory cord, and it's meant to pack, each loop is meant to pack 500 pounds. And what I'm using here, and this is shock corded right here. This is actually shock cording, and it's adjustable here. It's a tactical sling that's used by Navy SEALs and Delta Force. So my idea is if the most elite forces on the world, and you think, well, this is an expensive one, and it is. This is actually a really expensive sling, but there are a lot of just as good knockoff copies that are made. I got this ages ago. Knockoff copies of this that are made that are just as good for like $15 and $20 on eBay. I'm going to give you the link on where to get it. All you have to do is remove this, and I'll show it to you in a second video. There's an alligator clip for attaching this to a tactical weapon or a submachine gun for use by tactical forces, Navy SEAL, Delta Force, and all you're doing is replacing that metal lobster clock lamp with these loops, and it's very, very easy to do. You just remove it or hacksaw it off, and then you replace it with this soft accessory cord. This is not regular tent cord. It's actually braided nylon, so it's not the cheap stuff that you see at the camping stores, but it's called accessory cord, either 3mm or 5mm, but I've got 3 loops here, which is enough to hold up 1,500 pounds. So if you got one loop break, you still got 500-pound hold. You got another loop break. Anyway, point being, what have I got here? Accessory cord, comfortable, easy to carry. If I want to come up very quickly, if I'm walking through the woods and I see something I want to capture, bring the camera up, raise my leg up. I have partial one segment of my monopod out. This is Series P326 carbon fiber monopod. Also, the reason why on a monopod like this, you never want to rock it to the very last increment of the monopod. You bring it all the way out and you bring it up again a few millimeters, as that causes the monopod to last longer. When you actually drop it all the way to the last segment, what you're doing is bringing it to the locking point of where the carbon fiber spacer is. So you actually always want to bring it up a hair more than its full extension is. So right here, obviously, no problem. Look how easy this was to set up. I'm not rubbing on my camera. Actually, all the load from me packing this Nikon D500 and this 200mm to 500mm Nikkor is on the tripod collar. It's no different than me without this monopod holding it like this with the accessory cord on here, and this is just looped through the base foot of the tripod collar for the Nikkor lens. It cannot come this way, so I bring this onto my tripod collar of my lens mount, and then I screw on my monopod so this can go nowhere. It can't come off. Even with the monopod fully collapsed, there's no way of this falling off. I have 2 redundant loops of 500-pound rated accessory cord, and it is attached to what you can get for now for $15. A tactical sling that's extremely comfortable and shock corded. It's used by Navy SEALs and Delta Force. I've seen all these other contraptions that are stupidly complicated. They require the purchase of these expensive base plates. Simplicity is divinity. way it is right now, the only thing that's sitting on the tripod screw of my tripod collar of this lens is the monopod. The monopod, when I'm packing it on my side, is not taking any weight. All the weight is being packed via the actual very, very thick tripod collar of the lens. So I'm not stressing the lens, I'm not stressing the lens mount, I'm not stressing the mount on the camera. I'm not worried about this breaking off, which has been done. A lot of people will just stick on a black rapid sling right here where the monopod is mounted, and that's a problem. Because you develop these stress factors and someone's out for the 20th time with this and everything falls into the dirt. And then, this right now is what? A hair over $4,000 that's sitting on top of this monopod. 4,000 bucks. Yeah, you got insurance. I hope you got insurance. I got insurance on all this stuff. You don't want to drop it. Replacing stuff's the problem. You got to make a claim with your insurance agent. You don't want to do that. Your insurance agent usually doesn't like you when you make a lot of claims. So this is it. I've not found anything more simple. Not only is this cheap, there's a lot of ways there's more than one way to skin a cat. And 9 times out of 10, when it comes to doing something on the cheap, it means, well, I've done it on the cheap. It means you've done something kind of half-assed. Cheap usually means half-assed. You know it and I know it. But this is cheap, but it's better than everything else. Let me fully collapse it here. If I were to be hiking through the woods, say I wanted to get to a peak where all the birds are or something like that, I'm going to fully collapse my monopod so it's not going to be hitting on the trees. I'll be packing it like this. I'm going to be holding on the front of my body. This is shock corded. It's comfortable. When I'm actually walking through a path, my camera is in front of me. The same reason why I pack a camera like this, not a lens that's heavy like this. So I'm going through a crowd. When someone hits a lens that is stressing the mount on my camera, or if you're going through the woods and you're going to be bird shooting, which is what you're going to be doing with this action sports wildlife bird shooting, I don't want that big lens hitting on branches and trees. I don't want the camera hanging off my side like this or hanging behind me. I want it to be right in front of me where a mother would pack a baby. She wouldn't pack a baby this low, but your point is that you're guarding everything around here where your lens and camera is. This is fully comfortable. This is simple. You can make this for 20 bucks. Now, obviously, I'm assuming you got the carbon fiber monopod already, but once you screw the monopod on here, you slip this on, you're ready to go. Look, how simple is this? If this sling is good enough for Delta Force, literally Delta Force, the Navy SEALs, I'm sure it's good enough for your lens. Okay? It's not going to break. This is an indestructible little beast. Like I said, this was an expensive model. The Chinese knockoffs are just as good. Well, they're about 85% as good, but they're sure as good enough to hold up your lens. I mean, this thing was designed, right now I'm looking at under 10 pounds. This thing was designed to hold a saw machine gun and maybe 30 pounds of ammunition, packing it through the desert or through the swamp or whatever. So sure as hell pack your camera and your big ass lens. So this is it. Check out video number 2. I'll give you a close-up of what this is, and I'll also give you a link below on eBay. You just type in single point shock sling, but I'll give you a link below of an example of what it looks like. Okay? So this is it. Simplicity is divinity. Comfortable, easy, secure, won't stress the lens, won't stress the camera. There's nothing to break off here. There's no way in hell, unless the super thick aluminum tripod collar were to break, which I've never heard of one breaking. I've never heard of one breaking. There's no way this is going to fall in the dust or the dirt. It's easy to put on, it's easy to take off, it packs your camera and your lens securely. This is as good as it gets. If you think you got something better than this for packing a heavy lens, let me know. I've seen 100 different ways to skin a cat. It's an old southern saying, skin a cat, okay? 100 different ways to actually do this sort of thing with a large lens. But I've not seen a better way, or a more simple way, or a cheaper way. There's a lot of ways you can do stupid stuff cheap. But this is neither stupid, but it is also cheap. It's excellent and it's cheap, and it's fast. It's easy to put on, it's easy to put off. So there you go. This is the best, at least from what I've seen. And I've seen, look at this. Look at the balance, huh? So, my idea, I hope you like it. If you like this video and drop me a buck or two, go tell me to jump off a cliff. Go tell me to lose weight or whatever the hell, A lot of people hated this shirt, so I thought I'd wear it again in this video. You know, they say, "What are you wearing that ugly shirt for?" It's like, who cares? Thanks for watching. Catch you later. Hope you're enjoying your Nikon D500. Okay?
Bye.